Hello, and welcome to the Loose Butthole Reviews. Today we are reviewing Dazed and Confused, made in 1993. Well, it came out in 1993, I believe.
Yeah. Hello.
Alright, so
So,
I was kind of teetering, but since you gave your verdict already, it kind of solidified mine. And I'm going to explain, if you gave it a 5, I would have given it a 6. Since you didn't give
mm,
it a 5 or above, I'm going to give it a 5, because this is a 5-star movie. This
mm.
is a definitely a 5 out of 5 for me.
And you know what? And in a way, even though I give it, even though I will give it a 4.5, I still agree that it's a five-star movie. If you, if I told you this was a five-star movie, you'd agree.
I mean, should when I flash the ratings up, should I put 4.5 for you, or should I put
4.5.
okay? Just I have to double check.
For how I rate mine, just for my enjoyment of it. And I'm gonna explain my experience in this in one little sentence, and I'll go into it. But this movie's really good, and it felt like I was there. Like just hanging out with these people. Like that's how immersive it was. Because like a little bit, because like felt like I'm like, is this supposed to be '90s? Because like it could be, but it does look like it does look pretty dated in the fashion, just because. And I'm like, they already listened to some old school music too. It took me like a second until you like pointed it out. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, but it's because of like how much like it kind of like drew into like it didn't feel like so dated too. Like somehow it's still timeless. So it felt like I was hanging out, but also it's like I'm hanging out with them, but I feel like I'm too old to be there.
you you
But I've not
you're
fully enjoyed it because I was like, eh.
you're
like
Matthew
it's
McConaughey's character, but you're actually like aware and you have morals.
because like if I was there at that time right now, I'd probably be like hitting like a gay cut like punk club instead with an older crowd. That's where I would want to be at the time instead of like Matthew McConaughey in it. But I did really enjoy it. But there's something that's kind of missing from this, and I feel like it's just like I wish I watched this movie. It's definitely a nitpick, and I would definitely put it as like a weird nitpick of like even just like kind of like how much I got immersed in this made that nitpick.
Yeah,
So
I
that's why I say
completely
like it's
understand.
a five-star film, but 4.5.
And I completely agree with you that it's a timeless film. And
Mhm.
the only thing that I was gonna say, the only thing that's not timeless about it is the hazing. Like I kind of
Mhm.
understand, like I mentioned, I kind of understand the paddling. That
I mean, I got
that
hazed a little bit in that
I mean,
church
I
camp.
guess
Yeah.
you can say the new hazing was bullying, but hazing was made illegal, and it wasn't like a ceremonial thing like it used to be.
Mhm.
Hazing was a ceremonial thing.
I mean, I
This
got
it
duct
was
taped to a bed in a thong.
that
It
that wasn't
was
legal though.
funny.
It wasn't legal for them to do that to you, man. I'm saying that that would have been a ceremony if if it wasn't illegal.
Flip
and
flop
the
fights.
and I kind of understand how the paddling started for the male
Mm.
seniors. Couple of douchebag seniors was leaving, and to like do a send off, they paddled,
Yeah, it was.
the new
We only
freshmen.
hazed. That's what we never hazed anyone younger than us. It'd just be each
Yeah,
other.
well, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. This is hazing. This is the new seniors hazing the new freshmen. So you
Mm.
are hazing a person slightly younger than you.
I say teens nowadays
And
are like more conscious about not really fucking around with like
but
kids younger than them.
I this keeps getting in the way of me trying to say that the
Mm.
paddling started as a vicious cycle. One year it started, and so those seniors grew up, and there's like, well, we're seniors, and the seniors before us did it, so we're gonna fucking do it, and then it just started. But
I don't know
how
if I
they
was a freshman and I
haze,
got paddled and then they took me out for a beer. I mean, that'd be fun.
They took him out more than a beer. They got him stoned, man. They
Yeah, yeah.
like
Like that's what I
they
kind of like. I like that aspect when they're just like there's those kind of like nice guys that like they take part in the hazing, but they don't go full out like some of the crazier guys. And they're just like yeah. We're
but
welcome to high school.
I like how they pointed out even the crowd understand, like the direct crowd understands Ben Affleck's character, like kind of purposefully stayed back just so he could be a douchebag again. Like he gives off that energy. Like I completely stand with everybody when they say that. It's like, yeah, he there's like he's not dumb, but he's definitely was like, I'm gonna stay a senior again just so I can be a fucking douchebag one more year.
This was back when the cops in small towns were assholes, but they weren't fully militarized, and the full drug war hadn't fully commenced quite yet. So it
Yeah,
hadn't gotten all like there wasn't the full on tension, unless you're black.
and of course at this point of time in the 1970s, the cops would have had went through the hazing as well. So like I said, it's a ceremony thing. The only thing that I wanted to get into was I don't understand why they like the food aspect of it. Like the leash thing was too far when they were hazing the girls, but I understand that they were, degrading them, and they were supposed to be. This is what the film is saying they're supposed to be at the time. I'm not
something that
they're
I've seen
supposed
more
to.
in like sorority,
They're supposed
like
to be.
houses of like chicks,
They're treating them like female
rich
dogs,
ones.
bitches. But
Yeah.
I don't understand why they started covering them with fucking condiments and shit like that. That didn't track. Like that's how you treat a dog? Like really?
Hot dog.
You
Maybe a hot
son
dog.
of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
I did have to look up, and it's
eggs,
funny that
they were putting eggs and flour and shit on them too. You don't treat a hot dog like that.
Other than like the boy freshmen, and then like shit, I'm blanking on his name, the long haired dude that we made, the freshman the main freshman. Blanking out. What?
I don't know. I just
I don't
always
remember
refer
people's
to
names
him
'cause I
as.
got really stoned with everybody. I was getting stoned along with it. Like every time they put up a bowl, I was just like, all right. Blasted through my week. I wish I could like travel through the TV so I could get that $15 bag.
Oh my god, that was like so that Slater's so fucking lucky. He got the hookup.
He's glad that his friends kind of stoned and dumb. Doesn't really give a shit. Just casually dealing.
Oh man.
That's good friend prices. I'll pay you back. He's just laugh because he knows he's not gonna pay him back.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was definitely a fucking Slater. Through and through.
Well, the guys that I hang out with, like I only one time I had them drive me to get weed, never ever again. Because they pulled up, and then like when I was in there with them, they like pulled up with like this fake gun. I'm like, dude, you better be fucking glad my weed dealer's not fucking hard. You guys would have just gotten fucking blasted. But they're such fucking like losers about it too. I was the only one smoking weed.
We thankfully will never have to deal with that kind of stuff ever again.
I was just like, you know what? I'm just buying cigarettes off of you, man. Fuck you, like, fuck that shit.
What a time to be alive. We get to see the change, man. It's great.
My partying days was with you.
And that was my cool off period. That was me cooling off. That
That's why I
that
just
was
go to your guys' house, get the fucking like deepest, fucking nastiest rum. Remember?
I would
Pretty much what
never
I always do.
the I was always a whiskey kind of person. I always made sure we had whiskey as well and vodka.
Oh, you'd always get the crown. You'd always get the
Yeah,
Crown Royale.
the Crown Royal, or we would make we would make screwdrivers.
But I'd usually get the Admiral Nelson, and then I think I'd get a Kraken.
And of course, the other person we were hanging out with, they would have to get fucking Fireball.
Never fucking again. That got ruined because of an event that we won't get into. Never again. Besides having ulcer, I can't. That'll actually kill me. So I did have it once after, just because it was in a group setting at Bonnaroo, and they had they had this like sack of it. It was just like this big old like bag of it. They had like this little nozzle, and everyone was passing around. They're like, slap the sack, and I had to slap the sack. You gotta slap the sack. So I chugged a little bit, but I didn't go for any like more. I went for the other beers after that. But you gotta slap the sack. Bonner is awesome. That's why I love Fest. You can just go to like a random tent, and then everyone's your friend. You share what you got. Everyone shares with each other.
We have completely gone off course. We're supposed to be talking about Dazed and Confused.
This is the new format. This is what this movie brings out. It does kind of like bring back like some of the few times that I've had.
Yeah, that definitely like it's supposed to be a good time film, and that's like I said, the aim for this film is to bring you back into 1975.
And it did it perfectly.
Oh, it does it amazingly. Like to be honest, I
better than
hate
any that I've seen, because it always seems like that like movies like go too hard on it, and they're just like over with the slang and stuff. Like it's I did like how kind of like casually this was. Like it seemed more realistic, more natural. Like I was actually there.
Man, it was so like there was no bad acting in it whatsoever. There was no bad deliveries. Everything just meshed together perfectly.
It's close to. That's why like I almost gave it a 5, but like it's just not quite. Just like of how I rate things. Because that's what I'll
I
say.
completely understand you, and I do get that feeling now because I'm adult. I do feel I want these people taken care of. I don't want the paddling to happen.
This?
I was super. Oh man, I was super young. It was before.
I feel like that helps too. You know, like you could have those.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I would probably be a 4.5 for me too, but I guess the 5 get the extra 0.5 is the nostalgia.
I wouldn't disagree with you if you gave it a 6 either.
I just I'm only gonna give something a 6 if you give it a 5. It's not. I hate to say it. If you don't think that it's a perfect film, at least, or you love the film, then you don't objectively think it's perfect. But I objectively think
I will have to explain
that's how that would be
things that I always have to give like a half point to my just like objective my subjective like actual like enjoyment of it, because objectively I do think this is a perfect film.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying.
That's why like it teeters so close to 5 that I'd say like I feel like you could I feel like it wouldn't break your rule almost, because that's how close of it, just like it hadn't quite, just sort of like how I like to keep my flat 5s kind of exclusive to like the things that I have a full on like love, you know.
Yeah. I kind of understand that, but I also hope that just doesn't like negate new things, and like that has to be a nostalgia factor there. And
I don't think it has to be a nostalgia factor. I think it just has to.
Like you said, it just wouldn't mesh well.
That was a new one. Mm-hmm.
It just wouldn't mesh well with me. It's when it comes to the 6, when it comes to the God tier rating, you have to think at least subjectively that it's a good film. and
Yeah,
it even if you got to give
yeah.
it a little minus, that'll take away that I'll just have to
Mhm.
do that. And I really shouldn't let your ratings influence my ratings, I guess, but sometimes it's good to get a second opinion, you know?
Mhm. I understand.
And so that it will influence me. And of course, I don't just let you a second opinion, but I know several people that have watched this film and love this film, and that
Mhm.
also lets me know that it's a pretty damn good film.
Yeah, definitely. It is. That's what I'd say. Like, I wouldn't say that it's. I'm not even saying that it's not a good film. I think it's a very excellent fucking film.
Oh yeah,
I just
perfect.
think
I
that
definitely suggest
I
go
just had
watch
one
it.
nitpick of disassociation. That's all.
Yeah, and I completely understand that.
Mm.
And I would say that that would make it not a objectively perfect film. Is not a lot of other people are gonna have that disconnect as well when they
Mm.
go if they've never seen this film. Which if you haven't gone go see it if you have Hulu.
Mm.
It's definitely a good film. Heck, I'd suggest rent it to be honest on like Amazon Prime or something. It's that good of a
Oh yeah,
film.
definitely. Yeah. That I definitely say it's. I mean, I love if I saw this like in a Goodwill on DVD, I'd fucking add it to the collection. Hell yeah.
I think I have it on DVD.
I mean, it's definitely for a movie collection. I mean, it's up there. I wouldn't be surprised. Has it like gotten awards? Because it definitely, I'd be
I
surprised if it
most
didn't. Because
likely,
that's
and most
how
likely this got
great it was.
rewards. Like
Like this
if
is something that's not even like this isn't Oscar bait. This is like actually something that like those types of things should recognize.
yeah, it definitely should be recognized. If it didn't get any rewards, that's very disappointing. Like this definitely deserves a lot more recognition than. But I believe this was a critically acclaimed film.
Mm, yeah, I feel like I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this movie makes the rounds again because I've seen like the memes like a little like before. You know, that kind of like would flash around with millennials, kind of like remembering this film too. But I could definitely see like Zoomers like rediscovering this film, like did you know like that like everyone like rediscovering like Freebird? Like I literally had like a fucking Zoomer at my work that like was just like, hey man, do you ever like hear the solo of like Bird? I'm like, yeah.
Wait,
Have you? Did you? I was
wait.
baffled at that because I've seen on YouTube too, like people like making like new things. Because I think it was like in a movie, like in like the Kingsman or some shit, like one of the new
Are you
Kingsman movies.
telling me? Are you
And
telling
Zoomers are like,
me
"Wow,
Zoomers
Freebird."
don't
They didn't know Freebird,
they
dude,
don't know
because they don't listen to
Freebird?
the
Get
fucking
the fuck
radio.
out of here! Get the
Because when
fuck
their parents turn on the goddamn radio, they already have their little AirPods in. So when it
that
finally was just in the
that's
movie,
a
they're like, "Damn, this
uh
is looking."
that makes me feel so goddamn old, but that's fucking ridiculous.
But
They don't know
I
Freebird.
literally, he looked kind of funny at me because I just like I actually just audibly laughed. I'm like, yeah, I've heard Freebird like probably as fast as
Wait.
that.
Oh shit. Oh snap. They're gonna fucking learn the hard way.
Arjun,
They're oh shit, yes. They're gonna learn the hard way. You don't shout play Freebird at a goddamn concert. Yes.
I guess they didn't even have that meme because that everyone does that at every concert I go to.
Well, yeah, that's because that's the asshole thing to do. That generally bands just ignore it, but some bands will get it. I think one band, I can't remember what band, like actually like actively stopped the concert and stopped playing and performing because they kept requesting Freebird.
I know they did with one Buckethead, and he just did a little joke where he just played a little bit of a riff for a second, and Bucketheaded it. And also when I saw him in the
And
Cannibal
of
Corpse
course, if
too,
I'm
just
not
like
mistaken,
and Christopher. Uh-huh.
there's like a joke that it's supposed to be a very difficult song to play because it's extremely long.
Mm-hmm. I remember a corpse grinder Fisher just like being like just just telling that dude he was a fucking idiot. But it was all a joke. Everyone knows. No one actually wants to hear Freebird.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah,
It's
that's why
just a
it's a
meme.
joke. That's why it's funny that Zoomers are like, "Wow, this is actually really good," and like millennials are like, "Wait, Freebird? Are you?"
You're fucking serious.
It's like, wow, have you ever heard of Highway to Hell?
Oh, God, please. Oh, man. Well,
Freebird. It's been a long time since I listened to fucking Freebird.
oh, it's gonna
But
be
yeah,
a long. It's gonna
yeah,
be
we
a
have
long
totally
time.
diverted off.
Yeah, we can actually wrap this up. We've gone on
Yeah.
long enough. Dazed and Confused is a perfect film. You should go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. And you have seen it, you know you want to go watch it again. You know you want to go watch it again.
Yeah. I'd watch it again with, yeah. Like, it's probably, I need a little time before I'd watch this again, but I'd watch it again by myself, like, a little while, especially if it was, like, on a 420 and I had a shit ton of weed. Hell yeah. That's,
Oh
like, a
yeah,
great
definitely,
smoke,
definitely
just
good
smoking
film
with everybody.
for
That's like,
April 20th.
take a hit when everybody else does. That's a good game to have for this one. You
Yeah,
get
for
pretty lit.
sure. All right, if you've been
And
listening
then
this
drink with
long,
everybody, too.
all right, if you've been listening this long, thank you so much. Please like or comment, dislike on the video, share it around, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and go check out some more of our content. There's always something to watch. Do you have a sign off that you want to give, Spooge?
Yeah, that is my sign off. That's a drinking game for you. Drinking and smoking game. Have a sip of beer every time someone has a sip of beer, and have a hit. As long as they're in the legal states and they're the legal age.
Yes.
Disclaimer. That's my sign off.
All right, and we left a disclaimer too. That would be a bye-bye.
Bye bye.